that was a special night. That was a special game. And I got to give it to our guy. I mean, the heart, the soul, the grit that we kind of finished with last week, and what they did this week and what they showed me, especially there in the second half. I don't want to say it, but I don't know that I had seen all of that. And we saw it last week at the end, but I just mean that the ability to sustain some things, because at the end of the year, we all know there's nicks and bruises. There's guys that are hurt. There's plenty of guys that I said there's no way they would have played today, and they did. But that's not what gets you at the end of the year if you watch games. It's the emotions. It's the true energy that you got to go out there and play with when something happens, when they score or you get down or whatever it is. That doesn't happen in the summer. That doesn't happen from Coach Collins and running the stadium. That doesn't happen from lifting weights. That happens over time. That happens with a brotherhood that cares about each other, because at the end of the year, when things aren't going exactly the way you expected them to, boy, those emotions really drain you. And I know they did me. I mean, this was a stretch for me that has been as tough as anything. But to see those guys with the passion and energy, I knew it was a rivalry game, but still, there's something that had to dig deeper. And there's obviously a lot of guys in there we could talk about, but I think just one that's new like me and a Tanner Mordecai to show what not just this rivalry, but what this team meant to him, along with a lot of others, Braylon Allen and Will Pauling, who never should have played but did. That shows me, that shows a lot of us that there's something that's far greater than just, the conditioning and the toughness and things. It's something deeper that really, gives you a chance to be successful, especially at the end of the year like these guys have been.
Questions? Yes, you go ahead.
Luke, you alluded to this. You talked about this game before, but going through it for the first time and seeing the emotion on the players, you get a better sense of the importance of this and what it means during a season, even if the season hasn't gone for you.
I do. And I told you, I'm a traditionalist. I embrace the traditions when I walked in the door. You can say you don't know them, but I mean, Tanner Mordecai doesn't know him. Jace Maitre doesn't know him. That's why it took, the Tanner Bordolinis and the Braylon Allen, the guys that grew up around it, the guys that, have lived it for whether it's 3, 4. CJ Getz has lived it for the 6th year in a row now. To see not just how they prepared, but the energy that they played with, and then I'll say this: the celebration, the relief, the joy afterwards, holding that axe. I thought I knew it and I thought I respected it, but I do a far greater, hell of a lot more now.
Jeff, Luke, a couple of your linemen, offensive linemen after the Nebraska game said they were damn pleased. Did you make left on fourth down in that sequence and then punch it in on the ground? Do you think that carried over? Because they said that they really were excited about that and were hoping to do more of that in this game.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I literally, that was we didn't talk as much about the fourth down call last week after the game. I'm glad, because every other one of those calls hasn't quite worked out and looked like they were bad calls, but it was all because of those guys. It wasn't anything else. It wasn't, we have a good idea what they're going to do, and we've been stopped on 2 other fourth. Like, look, if we're going to be who we want to be, we're going to have to put it on those guys' shoulders. And I think that is a part of that momentum and energy and that those guys create. And I think it carried through. I mean, they did a really good job, obviously, in the first half, but I think they took over in the second half and gave us, that time of possession, gave us that ground game. They gave us that time. I thought they did a really good job of controlling the line of scrimmage in the first half, and I think they owned the line of scrimmage in the second half.
Jim, then Cole, you talked about brotherhood before. It was only 2 weeks ago, possibly 2 months ago. It was only 2 weeks ago where you had guys questioning who was on board. Right?
No, I don't think they ever questioned who was on board. I think they questioned the toughness. Maybe some of those guys said the heart. I mean, that's the difference, right? I mean, there's a difference to say who's on board. There's a difference when all of a sudden you get punched in the mouth and things are down, to see what else you're made of. And I think that since I've been here, there's never been a question of what kind of locker room you got and how those guys care about each other. But I think at some point in time, like brothers, like I got twins at home, and they're gonna fight, and they're gonna put each other's head through a wall every now and then, and then they're going to love each other when they get done. And sometimes in a locker room, you've got to keep and hold guys accountable and be honest with them. And I think that in my mind maybe was a step to say, okay, someone is speaking out about what we need to do better as a team. And at some point in time, like I do it in team, you address it, you call people out, and you make sure that we recognize the things we got to do to move forward. But you can do that because there is such a brotherhood and such a connection in that locker room that those guys truly, deeply care about each other.
Cool. Can you quantify the energy that Braylon gives you when he gets rolling, and what that does to the team as a whole?
I don't know that we've had it for the last few weeks. To be honest with you, I haven't felt it since Purdue. And I know that was when Ches went down too. And after that, I don't know that I had felt that energy from that position in particular. It's had some games and some situations and maybe some second halves, but it is. I mean, we all know what this program's been built on, right? It doesn't mean it has to change. Yes, it might look a little bit different, but it's still about the physicality. It's still about the line of scrimmage. And it's still about those guys in the backfield. And, that's where I felt it in the first half, but it was the second half. And I think that if I've got the biggest smile on my face, it's because of that. It's because of the line of scrimmage. It's because of the ability to pound it and wear somebody down. That's the way I want to live my life.
Jesse, you referenced before this previously being one of your toughest stretches as a coach to go through. What lessons, if anything, do you think you learned from your first regular season going through something like that with the microscope?
Just off the top of my head, you're always learning. You as soon as you think you got an idea of what something is, there's things that continue to change and adjust. And so I guess for me is don't over analyze some of those things. I mean, until you actually play games, until you actually get in the fire, you don't learn everything about each other. And that's from me, them with me, I'm sure, me with them, us as coaches in the first, time we've been through this in the fires together. I think that would be my initial, you think sometimes I've been doing this for a while now and I've been in this position before. I got a better idea of what it's going to be like. And the reality is you don't. And there's a lot of things that we got to find out about each other as we go through these journeys.
Cool. You mentioned Tanner and the emotions he had after this one. I mean, how impactful is it to have a guy at quarterback that can keep you out of some of those negative plays with his mobility and just create something out of nothing? Well,
the quarterback is the multiplier. Let's just be honest, right? I mean, like running the football and pounding and things, but a quarterback is a multiplier. A quarterback, if you have a guy on your team who's like a dude, he makes everybody better. I mean, he makes the defense better. He makes everybody on offense better. Just that comfort level of having a guy that and trust no matter what the situation is, you got a chance. And obviously Tanner's been up and down. He's been hurt and he's been injured, but you saw tonight what Tanner Mordecai is, the competitor that he is. I mean, whether it's 4.5, 5 weeks after, it means something to him. This isn't some place he walked in and rented. This is a place that he deeply invested in, and I'll forever be grateful for that.